as you know, the Rowan Roper Show. I'm Ro Khan. He's Richard Roper. Brian Burrow on news and Christina Filiaggi on Taylor Suits and Travis.
Oh, there she is.
And we also, not only are we a radio show, but we are also the proud owners of a drone. We have Rowan Roper 1, the official drone of the Rowan Roper Show. We've been we've had this drone for about a week. And we're very much, I would say, like the Wright brothers, because the drone has flown for approximately 6 seconds on its first flight.
6 glorious seconds, sir.
Before something bad happened, and it hit a light, and then the whole thing exploded. But we've got it. We believe that the drone is back. Is it back? It's back in the building, right? It's fixed?
Has not left the building.
No, it wasn't capable of leaving the building for a while there.
So, and I don't know, and we bought a drone because we're trying to figure out what all the hysteria about drones, the good, the bad, the ugly. And there's a story that caught my attention today in the Chicago Tribune, that there's a Glenview realtor in Glenview, a real estate realtor. That's redundant.
Sure, that's all right. We understand what you're saying.
Who is going to start to use the drone to sell property.
Oh, get a different kind of look at the property from the inside and out, right?
Now, Dan Isaacson is the guy who helped this happen. He's the owner of a investment company, Kavu Investments. And you guys, and you have a bunch of drones, right?
We do, yes.
Yeah. And now, you're trying to find other commercial applications for drones. I was told you did like whitewater rafting. You want to do some whitewater rafting, and the drone will go fly with you over the whitewater and capture your screaming and almost falling in. Right?
Precisely. So that's how we got started. Is that we own a rafting company in the state of Oregon, and we bought them as a kind of a cool way to highlight your trip down the river. And we just got a number of people who kept coming in saying, I'm a realtor and I have this house, which might come and buy and shoot it. After about the 10th one, we kept saying, yeah, sure, for $50. And it just developed it from there.
So what? I see, to me, the drone is going to show something on the roof that you don't want to see. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing. That's the beauty part of selling a house, is that you never get to see it from the top down. And sometimes that's the part you should be looking at.
I would say that what I focus on when I'm shooting a particular property is the landscaping, the neighborhood, whether there's a park nearby. You mentioned the realtor in Glenview, Margaret Lubman, who is just, she's fabulous. The whole area of Glenview is gorgeous to show off. And if you're selling $1 million property on a block there, you can't capture in a traditional shot from the street what the neighborhood looks like. This is the only way to do it.
Right, Dan. So you can show the drone showing how close you would be to a park for the kids or a school if parents are looking for something like that.
Exactly.
And you guys fly the drones? You're not leaving it up to the real estate agent to fly the drones, are you?
No, we take care of it. We come out, we shoot the property, we edit it all up in Adobe After Effects and delivered a finished piece to them.
Okay, good. Because we've learned, mm-hmm. Dan, unfortunately, and with almost tragic results, we've learned that the drone is not as easy to navigate as you might think.
I share that sentiment. I will tell you, I wrecked mine when I first got ours, 13 seconds out of the box. I don't know how quickly you guys did yours, but
6.5 seconds.
All right. Well, then you beat me. You get to have the record. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Does it when it's whirring on the ground? Does that count? Because it would be about 14, 15 seconds. We had it going before we could actually get it up. And then once we got it up and we started moving it, that's when the trouble started, Dan. Oh, it's not good. What do you make of all this controversy about the drones, that they're an invasion of privacy and you got to be careful about it? And there was just a story, was it last week in Seattle, a woman, wakes up, looks out her window and there's a drone floating, mm-hmm. outside of her window with, some perv trying to look in. Well, how far does this go, or will this get restricted in some way, do you think?
My big problem with it is that the FAA is trying to restrict them, and that's great. And I think that they should have restrictions and regulations on them. But my problem is that they're focusing on the one aspect of the industry that is going to self-regulate to a certain degree. I have to have insurance. I'm very careful of who I select to pilot these things. I let the neighbors know I'm there when I'm there, so I don't scare anybody. But the regulations that everyone is proposing don't include hobbyists, regular people who buy them on a Sunday on eBay, which is 99% of the stories you're seeing on the news. The guy who flew it into the Pittsburgh Pirates game the other day, and it was on national news. Those are personal, hobbyists. Those aren't even governed by the regulations that are being proposed. So if the idea is to make the skies safer and to give people's privacy concerns paramount focus, then we need to include everybody in the mix.
You think the drone is here to stay?
I think that it's a $13 billion industry. We've grown in 60 days, from a one drone operation to 10 states, 8 locations. We're on track to be, a $50 million company in 5 years. So, I mean, believe me, it's staying.
Wow. Well, you certainly hope so. And it certainly sounds like it has an interesting application, though, because now the camera, it's not just so much the drone, it's the camera technology, because that newfangled sort of GoPro-esque quality HD, relatively inexpensive to get really high optics and a really great image, and then the filters and all the other stuff that you can do with it. It's the image that it sends back that's the winner.
Absolutely. And if you think about it just in terms of what our experience with photography is, it's almost all terrestrial. So it's for 100 or so years it's been on the ground. This allows you to look at the Earth in a completely different way, in the same way that GoPro allowed you to highlight your greatest achievements, almost like in third person. So the industry is going to have problems only insofar as people abuse it. But I like to look at it kind of like a car. My car tells me I can drive 200 miles an hour. That doesn't mean it's legal. It doesn't mean I should do it. But it doesn't mean that we start banning cars. It means that we need to have a licensing program. It means we have training. It means we allow people to do it. But we put reasonable expectations on and limitations on people to adhere to.
Drone school. Yeah. I can see what's going to have a drone
training.
Yeah.
Conceal and
honestly,
drone.
the best school you could ever go to.
Dan, congratulations. Good luck on this.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, Dan Isaacson, who now we went from one drone to, 50 million drones?
Yeah, a lot of drones. I think you're right, though, Ro, because at first we were hearing so much about drones being used to deliver packages and things like that, and now it seems to be switching more to the visual achievements you can do, the visual uses, photography, video, things like that.
All right, we're going to come back with Rick DeMaio because apparently the storm is really heating up that is just out to our west. We'll tell you about that. It could be a potentially dangerous situation for a lot of people in our listening area right after this.